Tonight, Prime Minister Christie in Cuba for high-level talks for the region.
Believe in yourself. Those were the words offered by Prime Minister Perry Christie to the first graduating class of the National Training Agency. I'm Altaviz Munnings. That story coming up in the Bahamas Tonight.
And then a special report on a Bahamian bringing peace with a camera. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The Prime Minister is set to join high-level regional talks. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks for joining us. Discussions on key issues to the Bahamas and other Latin American and Caribbean countries have started at the second CELAC meeting in Havana, Cuba, where Prime Minister Christie and 32 other regional leaders have converged for the two-day summit. Our Julian Reed tonight is in Havana.
Migration, fisheries, gender equality, and food safety are some of the issues that are dominating the discussions here at the second summit of Latin America and the Caribbean, CELAC, right in Havana. The summit got underway this morning, and Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell has been participating in them. He says there are two other side issues that affect the Bahamas and the region.
One is the Dominican Republic and the Constitutional Court's ruling on citizenship. And there's not now an agreement on how to deal with that issue. The chair and the governing quartet believes that this is an issue that is bilateral in nature, and CARICOM has a more multilateral approach to it. So we're waiting to see how that develops. But suffice it to say, it's a very strong issue for CARICOM, given that Haiti is one of our members, and it's essentially taken away the citizenship of many people who've been living in the Dominican Republic for years and years and years.
In Havana, I'm Julian Reed for ZNS Network News.
The franchise holder of KFC in New Providence today announced the immediate closure of its Village Road store as part of what's being called a strategic plan to efficiently manage population changes in the Nassau market, which in the company's words have shifted over recent years. Gabriel Sastry, the vice president and general manager of restaurants, said the company routinely assesses its locations both individually and as part of the entire store system. The company went on to say in its statement that as a result of the company currently operating 5 KFC Nassau locations within less than 2 miles of each other, a position that is, in its words, economically unsustainable, a decision was made to close the Village Road store. Now, the company said 35 employees currently employed at the Village Road location will all receive severance packages consistent with their union agreements, as those positions have been made redundant, but that as the company's strategically grows across New Providence, they'd be able to apply for any positions which may become available.
Now, national unemployment numbers revealed last November illustrated that some 32,000 Bahamians didn't have a job. Labor Minister Shane Gibson says the government plans to decrease those numbers this year. He affirmed that local and international investments are in the pipeline to create the jobs needed.
We have quite a number of projects on the drawing board. As you know, Bahamas would absorb approximately 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 employees. And what we didn't want to happen was for them to get to a position where they need workers and they couldn't find persons with the basic skills to train specifically for their establishment here in the Bahamas. And so we have some things that we're doing to try and generate additional employment that would bring the unemployment numbers down.
Hospitality, financial, and other service-oriented sectors are some of the fields Minister Gibson noted Bahamians are interested in securing employment.
One of the reasons why we started the National Training Agency is to prepare Bahamians and the workforce to take advantage of all of the opportunities that will be created once we begin to come out of this recession that we've been experiencing for the past approximately 6 or 7 years. And so it does my heart good just to look at the large numbers of young people, particularly young men, who have now graduated from the National Training Agency and certified in a number of areas, from housekeeping to working in the kitchen as potential chefs in these large establishments, to office procedures, mechanics. As you know, we have a serious shortage of auto mechanics here in the Bahamas.
32-year-old Murphytown, Abaco resident Pedro Bain was arraigned in the magistrate's court today in connection with the double homicide on Abaco on January 18th. Dean, who's also known as Stitchy, is accused of killing 32-year-old Landris Curry and 28-year-old Drayson Forbes, both of Dundas Town. Police say the two men were riddled with bullets, apparently the result of a drug deal gone bad. In court today, Dean was not required to enter a plea to the charges. Bail was denied and he's been remanded to prison. 32-year-old Ernest Forrest made his first appearance in court today. He's accused of killing Kendrick K. Strawn back on December 31st. In court, Forrest was not required to enter a plea. A voluntary bill of indictment will be filed. Bail was denied and he's been remanded to prison. Following the arraignment, Forrest raised the issue of an alibi, claiming he was never in the area when Strawn was killed. He also asked to see a doctor. His comments and requests were noted by the court. The two men accused of attempting to kill and rob Superintendent Clayton Fernander were in court today for the start of their trial, but the matter was pushed back to a later date due to legal issues. Police say Superintendent Fernander had just arrived in the driveway of his St. Vincent Road home last April when he was shot multiple times to the body by two masked men in what was believed to be an attempted armed robbery. Maurice Ambrister and Excel Josie, also known as Lyndon Bethel, are accused of the crime. The trial resumes Thursday of this week. Director of Public Prosecutions Vanette Graham Allen and Neil Brathwaite are prosecuting the case. Wayne Monroe, Jomo Campbell, and Ramona Farquharson Seymour make up the defense. Justice Carolita Bethel is presiding.
More than 300 individuals graduating from the government's National Training Agency program today. It's a first for the Christie administration, whose goal, once taking office, was to decrease the high numbers of unemployment nationwide. Altavi's Munnings tells us tonight that the program has lived up to its billing, with almost 500 prospective employees ready for the next round of training.
After 14 weeks of training in hospitality, food and beverage operations, office procedures, and auto mechanics, just to name a few, nearly 50 of the 300 participants of the National Training Agency received their diplomas Monday morning with much satisfaction.
You are ready for life's exciting journey, and we expect that you will all be ambassadors for the program, encouraging those who come behind.
The government's goal of equipping school leavers and young adults with the vocational training required for the workplace has proven to be very successful. Participants boast that the National Training Agency's detailed curriculum has truly prepared them for the real world.
The only thing I could say right now is we're just all anticipating and anxious to get these jobs and get it on forward and let's keep making a better Bahamas.
We learn a lot, such as setting tables. We learn to be confident in ourselves. Also, we learn that no matter where our mistakes are, we have to brush them up, get up, and keep on pushing further.
The first days it started off a little bit challenging, I guess, getting to know everyone, because some of them were a little shy, a little reserved, and then you had some, they just came right into the program.
We have found full-time, secure, permanent employment for maybe, I think it's either 41 or 42 of them to date. We have 65 of them who have been interviewed for pending jobs, and we're only waiting to hear from them.
Reminiscing on his younger days, Prime Minister Perry Christie underscored the need for these graduates to believe in themselves no matter what. He's optimistic 2014 is the year for major economic growth in the Bahamas.
I believe that this is only the beginning. There is much more good to be realized and embraced. I challenge all of you to do your part to encourage what is good, positive, and productive. Together, if we believe in the Bahamas, we can build a better nation.
430 individuals will participate in the next session of the National Training Agency program in early February. Altavi's Munnings, ZNS Network News.
In our first look at weather, a weak high-pressure system continues to provide pleasant weather throughout the 700 islands, but outside of our studios, we have partly cloudy skies, your temperature 75 degrees, relative humidity 74%. Your winds are out of the north-northeast at 5 knots, barometric pressure 1,016.0 millibars, that's 30.00 inches, and it is rising. But stay tuned, temperatures around the family of islands, travel and boating forecast is still to come.
Thousands of books donated to the Urban Renewal Program by our partners in the North. We'll explain coming up in the Bahamas Tonight.
Plus, Catholic education celebrated. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.